Also, some reason, man, some fucking action scenes are like nigh on impossible to figure out what the fuck is going on in manga. Like I'm looking at these panels and there's shit going on, and I'm like, I would need to like get my fucking pen and draw along to like try and figure out what the actual choreography is. Do you
like bird's eye view kind of like layout of what's happening.
I would have more chance having like a battlefield view and you showing me like little fucking statues moving.
Right.
JoJo fans trying to figure out King
Crimson,
before the anime.
Yeah, that was literally me. I was like, what's going on?
So many at manga, I'm like, I will sit there for a good like 30 seconds staring at this like, yeah, I've no fucking idea.
That's the problem I had with like JoJo early on, because I'm reading it, I'm like, these stand powers are getting so fucking weird that I'm looking at something and I'm like, I guess this stand is doing its power, but I don't know what the fuck it's doing.
Which is odd, because then in action and manga, I start to like not really care about, because half the time you can barely fucking tell what's actually happening, and you're just like putting the dots. I don't know. There's something about watching the fight unfold. In like the way it was meant to, in like a timed way with music and noise. It's so much more satisfying.
I don't know, because I feel like that is the problem with a lot of anime fights, period, right? Is that they don't actually feel like fights. They feel like just, they feel like impacts intermittently with dialogue in between. You know what I mean? Because like no one, you see some anime fights and you think no one actually fights like this. You know what I mean? No one throws a punch, says a sentence, then throws a punch back. You know what I mean? That's not how fights work.
Which is literally every Baki fight ever.
Exactly right.
What's a fight without a dialogue? Come on, gone.
Because like that's why, for example, the fights in God of High School really stood out to me, because they actually felt like a martial arts fight. You know what I mean? Like, say what you want about the story or the whatever, but the way the fights were directed and framed and just choreographed, they felt like actual fights.
It felt like a Jackie Chan fight, right?
Yeah, exactly. And because that's what immediately stood out to me about that direction and that animation, was that, you know, sometimes you get like the Naruto episode where you have like the basic normal Naruto fights, and then you have like this one episode that is just like the studio putting all their budget and their A team on one fucking fight, and then that is the fight that people remember, you know what I mean? But most anime fights are just, they are literally just animated manga panels, and you can't tell what's going on in a manga panel with action most of the time. So that's really what sets the good fights from the bad fights.
Sometimes you need that dialogue, right, to help build it up. It's like a good porn, right? Sometimes you need the story to make the fucking worthwhile.
No, of course,
I mean?
but you know, I think there's like a limit to how much dialogue you can put into it, right? Like, you know, that's one thing I didn't like about like a lot of Naruto fights, is the fact that it's like, I don't need a fucking flashback in the middle of a punch. I don't need that.
Yeah, I like it when they're like internalizing their thoughts on the battle. That's more interesting to me than them fucking being like, you're strong, and it's like, well, obviously that's why you're fucking fighting each other.
Not gonna lie, my least favorite like anime fight trope is like the guy in the sidelines explaining everything while it's happening.
To be fair, that's either hit or miss.
Yeah,
because one of the only
Speedwagon.
Like it's either Speedwagon or it's shit, basically.
Pretty much. It's like I don't know how this person is able to like explain every fucking like physics movement as this guy is doing a fucking 1-inch punch, right? It's like what is the time frame? How is that happening?
And then there's like Baki, which is just like you have an esports commentator just like explaining every detail and technique and the fucking backstory.
I love that, man. That's fucking great. I love it.
That's the thing, right? It's like, if it's like JoJo or Baki, where it's gotten to the point where it's so unrealistic that it just becomes ridiculous and funny. I like that. But I hate it when they try and make it as if it's happening in real time. And it's like, don't kid yourself, guys. Like, there's no, like, you'd have to be fucking like rap god in order to like commentate over it that fucking quickly as it's happening.
Yes, sometimes you just hear a piece of dialogue in the time it takes us for like one punch to get thrown, and like a punch is just like a fucking millisecond, right? And they have this 5-minute dialogue in the middle of their head in between this punch getting thrown. And
it's like a multi-page like exchange, right? It's like, where's the punch? Where's the impact?
Go on. Sorry.
I'm just like, is time dilation just a thing when anime characters get punched or something? Like Einstein's rolling in his grave right now whenever a punch gets thrown, man.
Yeah. And also, how many fucking manga is there where like someone gets fucking stabbed And then like they're like, but you fell in my trap. And it's like, how many times have you practiced this where you just been like stabbed or punched and this was like part of your plan? Like this is just like it happens so fucking often, or like sometimes they'll get like a fatal wound and they'll immediately like heal it. And it's like, what?
Yeah, but then again, right, it's like that kind of goes back into the whole thing of like how ridiculous it is as well, right? Like Bucky does that so fucking often where it's like, you should be dead after one punch, but you've somehow managed to survive like 10 punches, a stab wound, and like 3 gunshots, and you're still able to like form a dialogue.
Well, I feel like Bucky is just like one side of the extreme where it's so extreme that you can't take it seriously anymore. But I mean, a lot of anime fights and like anime tropes, like anime is just normalized getting punched and coughing up blood, whereas in real life you're internally hemorrhaging, and that's you're probably gonna die if you internally hemorrhage. Let's be honest.
If you cough up blood, bro,
you're dead. You're just dead.
It's not gonna be good.
If you smash your head through a concrete wall, which is apparently normal in anime, then you've got a fucking concussion, you know?
Or just a splattered head. Like you'll have no head, probably.
Exactly.
I want a realistic like toe stubbing scene in anime. That's what I want. That's what I want to experience. Nichijou could have done it.
Yeah, probably.
Toe stubbing is like the closest I get to a real life anime scene, right?
I want someone to just animate someone stubbing their toe, and then it's just like immediately like a JoJo slate. They're like cough up blood, and they're like, no,
because I'm pretty sure like Boba probably did something like that.
Because like in real life, I don't know what it is about stubbing your toe. Like you stub your toe, and it's one of the few injuries you get where you do it and you know the pain is coming, but for some reason there is a pain delay between you stubbing your toe and the immense pain you're about to feel. Like if there was a time for a real life anime flashback, it's in that delay. It's in that pain delay, man.
If you're an anime character, you would realize that you can synchronize your energy to counter the blow incoming. That's come on.
You can stop the nervous system from delivering it to your brain.
Exactly. Right? That's the closest you get to a fucking anime injury or whatever.